Hello, my name is Emily Christ. I am with Purdue Extension in Elkhart County as the Health and Human Sciences Educator. Today we're going to be talking about a different topic, mindfulness for healthy aging. This lesson just covers the whole definition of mindfulness and how different type of mindfulness techniques can be beneficial as we age. The lesson will also cover the implementation process of mindfulness and how it can improve your overall brain and heart health. I just want to quickly provide some contact information there on the screen. You have my name, my email address, the phone number to our office, and then our office location or our office address if you ever have specific questions about what is learned today. Just a quick little snippet here about what Purdue Extension is and how it's funded. It's funded on the national, state, and local level. So depending on what county you're located in, your county is also going to be funding Purdue Extension as well. Just a little tidbit about Purdue Extension's mission and vision. This is just to better understand why we deliver this education. We're here to, deliver that practical research-based information that enhances lives and livelihoods. You could go online today and look up, what is mindfulness for healthy aging or what is healthy aging, and you are going to get a slew of different answers to that question. And so we pride ourselves on doing the research here at Purdue Extension to then be able to provide out into the community so you know exactly what you're getting. The vision, however, is that we will be a leader in providing relevant, high-impact educational programs that transform the lives and livelihoods of individuals and communities here in Indiana and the world. I mentioned this at the very beginning, but what are our objectives today? What are we going to be going over? And what I hope that you get out of this lesson is going to be, what is mindfulness? The different types of mindfulness techniques that are out there, how it improves your overall health and your brain health, and then the implementation process and how you can apply this to your daily life. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is the practice of maintaining a non-judgmental state of complete awareness of one's thoughts, emotions, or experiences on a moment-to-moment basis. So although this definition may sound simplistic, techniques learned through this lesson can largely impact your emotional and your physical well-being as we age. So now let's talk about how mindfulness can change your brain and improve your health. So stress is an unavoidable part of our lives, unfortunately, but learning how to manage it successfully can do much, much better things to help improve your mental and your physical health as you age. We all encounter stress in our daily lives, though we might use different examples in order to describe it. One person may describe their stress being work-related. Someone else may say driving to work was stressful, or something broke in their home, that's stressful. So we all have different definitions of stress. But whether the particular stressor that you're experiencing, a car crash, a loud argument, the ache of arthritis, each potential or actual threat is going to trigger a cascade of stress hormones that produce well-orchestrated physiological changes. And we'll get into that here in just a minute. So let's look at some of the physical reactions when we experience a stressor. So your breath is going to quicken as your body takes in extra oxygen. That's to help fuel your muscles as this is happening. Likewise, energy boosting glucose and fats are released from different storage sites into your bloodstream. Sharpened senses such as sight, maybe your hearing, tend to make you more alert. So your heart will start pounding quickly. It could be beats up to 2 to 3 times as quickly as normal. And then your blood pressure will then rise. Certain blood vessels then will constrict, which helps direct blood flow to your muscles and brain and away from your skin and other organs. Blood cells, called platelets, become stickier, so clots can form easier and more easily to minimize those bleeding from potential injuries. However, your immune system activity starts to pick up. So your muscles, even the tiny hairs that are on your arm, the muscles beneath your skin, all of that tends to tighten, preparing you to spring into action. This can also be called the fight or flight. So body systems not needed for the immediate emergency are suppressed in order to focus energy on where it's needed. The stomach and intestines, they can cease operations. So, repair and growth of body tissue will then slow. According to Harvard research, meditation and other stress reduction techniques have proven to be effective in how our brain reacts to situations and creating a balancing role during those situations. After practicing mindfulness, what happens is the gray matter in your brain, the amygdala, a region known for its role in stress, can become smaller. Studies have shown that similar brain changes in people who meditate. So mindfulness and creativity, when we're looking at that prefrontal cortex is the area in your brain that's responsible for things like planning, problem solving, and controlling your emotions. The gray matter in this area can become thicker after practicing mindfulness, showing increased activity in these areas of thought. So mindfulness and memory, however, an area of the brain known as the hippocampus, helps your memory and learning. This area can also become thicker after practicing mindfulness. So although the practice of meditation is thousands of years old, research on its health benefits is relatively new, but it's promising. So research released from Harvard University has been determined that it boosts the ability of the brain to direct its attention down to the information of interest. What this means is this helps one remain in control of their attention, is referred to the top-down process. Meditation is thought to work via its effects on the sympathetic nervous system, which increases your heart rate, breathing, and blood pressure during times of stress. Studies suggest that mindfulness practice may help people manage their stress, cope better with serious illness, and reduce anxiety and depression. Many people who practice mindfulness report an increased ability to relax, maybe great enthusiasm for life, and improved overall self-esteem. So now let's talk about the different types of mindfulness meditation. First, let's talk about guided meditation, sometimes called guided imagery or visualization. With this method of meditation, you form a mental image of places or situations you find relaxing. You try to use as many senses as possible with this, such as smells, sights, sounds, even textures. You may be led through a process by a guide or even a teacher. Another type of meditation that we can look at is yoga. So you perform a series of different postures and controlled breathing exercises to promote a more flexible body and a calm mind. As you move through poses that require balance and concentration, you're basically encouraged to focus less on the things in your mind or your busy day and more on the moment itself. Mindfulness meditation, however, this basically encourages you to focus objectively on negative thoughts as they move through your mind, so you can basically achieve a state of calm. So now I want you to take a few moments to practice the mindfulness exercise. You'll also probably just take a deep breath, and that's okay too, but let's just practice that mindfulness exercise, okay? So take a deep breath in. And take a deep breath out. What this could also look like is closing your eyes for a few seconds and just kind of coming back to center. It may sound silly for some, but for others it may work. Sometimes we just need that pause during our busy day to recenter ourselves and get ourselves back into a good headspace. This type of meditation is based on just being mindful or having an increased awareness and acceptance of living in the present moment. In mindfulness meditation, you broaden your conscious awareness, which means what you're aware of currently, and you focus on what you experience during meditation, maybe like the flow of your breath or the smells or how your body feels. So you can observe your thoughts and emotions, but let them pass through without judgment. So let's look at some of the benefits of mindfulness meditation. When you meditate, you may clear away the information overload that tends to build up every single day that tends to contribute to your stress. The emotional and physical benefits of meditation are listed here on the page, but let's go through them here. Gaining a new perspective on stressful situations, building skills to manage your stress. You're increasing self-awareness, so knowing when you feel like you're getting in that stressful state. Focusing on the present, reducing negative emotions, increasing imagination and creativity, increasing patience and tolerance, lowering your resting heart rate, lowering your resting blood pressure, and then improving sleep quality. Finding time for mindfulness in our culture today is a huge challenge. We tend to place a great value on how much we can do at once and how fast. Still, being more mindful is within anyone's reach. So instead of moving on to the next thing so quickly, or even multitasking in itself, you want to make sure that you are practicing and that you can practice mindfulness throughout your day. You know, you can do this while answering emails, sitting in traffic, waiting in line at the pharmacy. All you have to do is basically just become more aware, maybe of your breath, your feet on the ground, your fingers typing, the movement of your hand, the people and the voices around you. These are all things that are within our control that we can really try to inhabit when trying to focus on mindfulness and putting it into our daily lives. So when we're looking at practicing being mindful, there's a few things that you want to keep in mind. You want to set aside a place and a time in order to meditate or to take time for yourself. So doing it with intention. You want to sit comfortably in a chair, on the floor, anywhere that allows you for your back to be straight. You want to close your eyes or focus on your gaze on objects that you've chosen. So it could be on a photo, it can be on a screen, nothing that's moving, of course. It needs to just be a moment of stillness. That's why a lot of people also talk about disassociation and how it can actually be beneficial when it comes to our daily life, because it allows you to almost bring yourself back by disassociating and kind of gazing off somewhere else for a moment. Breathing slowly, deeply, and gently, and then keeping your mind focused inward on said object. If it tends to wander, gently try and steer yourself back to center. So let's say I'm sitting at my desk all day and I just need a moment to disassociate or to just be more mindful and relax. I will focus, just take a second and focus on my water bottle and allow yourself to just sit there for a few moments. You would be surprised on how much disassociation can actually benefit your mind from constantly being in overdrive. It doesn't have to be your water bottle, but a lot of the time when we have an extra moment throughout our day or we want to disassociate, we do it by scrolling on our phone, scrolling on social media, and truly that is not true disassociation. Your mind is still going. It's just not in a beneficial way because you're still taking information in and trying to process that information. So when we disassociate, we want to make sure that we're doing it in a calm and intentional manner. I want to thank you guys for listening to this quick lesson today on mindfulness and how you can apply it into your daily life. You will be receiving a link with a survey, and I greatly appreciate it if you'd fill that out just so we know what you took away from today's program. I hope you all can take mindfulness and apply it into your daily life, even if it's just for a few minutes each day. You'd be surprised on how much of a difference it can make in your overall physical, mental, and emotional well-being. Thank you so much.